It's the latest craze sweeping social media.
I'm obviously not a doctor.
Black market peptides promising everything from tanned skin to shredded six-packs.
People are playing Russian roulette with their lives and with their health.
Hello, I'm Linton Besser. Welcome to Media Watch. And first tonight, the wave of black market pharmaceuticals sweeping Australia. Peptides, marketed as miracle drugs for weight loss and muscle gain, fuelled by the body beautiful obsession that dominates social media.
Influencers injecting peptides promise everything from healing and weight loss to healthier skin and hair, even a better tan.
But the online frenzy about peptides might not take the form you imagine.
Okay, girlies, welcome to the groceries rabbit hole.
I have just read a new journal article in regards to ratatouille.
Groceries, ratatouille, prison code for contraband, used as camouflage by pretty men and handsome women in a thriving underground market, pushing peptides as a shortcut to comeliness, though some are far more explicit.
Let's unpack my weekly peppers order.
Peptides are amino acids, some of which are approved medicines that can be prescribed by a doctor. But unapproved peptides are now being pumped up on social media, where people like this peptide mum in Oz show just how easy it is to pump into the body. Some dismissive of the potential side effects, including in the case of one peptide, melanoma.
Have you ever heard of a black person contracting skin cancer? No, because they've got more melanin in their bodies.
And others rather frank about the lack of doctors involved.
At the end of the day, it's an email address. I don't know who's on the other end of the email address. I'm just a random on the internet, just like all these other people.
Little wonder the peptide trade is booming. This analysis finding that peptide-related hashtags on TikTok alone have been viewed more than 230 million times. The platform's spruikers outwitting moderators with the most cunning of tricks.
So just putting out a little PSA to anyone who is interested in ordering peps.
This clever influencer linking to one supplier, Australian Peptide Clinic, which reminds visitors its products are
not for human consumption.
For laboratory research purposes only.
Before directing traffic to a chat group on the encrypted messaging platform Telegram, where those laboratory researchers can discuss the science.
Hi, I'm new to this. I'm wanting to know how to use peptides.
Can anyone help me with the dosing? It's my first time using it.
Has anyone ever felt real nausea, fainting and vomiting and pain around the area you're injecting?
Only there's the odd unhappy customer.
Hi all, I had my order seized by the police. Retatrutide is illegal to purchase in Australia, so it's not like I can go following up on it.
When at 1:22 p.m. on Friday we posted a little contribution to the chat mentioning our somewhat inconvenient plan to expose this unlawful promotion of peptides, our message, rather sadly and rather swiftly, disappeared from the record. Meanwhile, other users have been a little perplexed at where their money is going, with payments flowing to what appears to be a body shop in Queensland, not for humans, but cars. Australian Peptide Clinic also sells retatrutide, some of which circulating on the black market is causing
acute liver toxicity.
And what does that look like?
My eyes started going yellow, like very noticeably yellow.
6 such cases reported in Victoria this year, prompting an official warning not to use the product. Last month, Australia's Health Department urged social media companies to take proactive, sustained action on the problem, no doubt dismayed by the task facing the drugs regulator, the Therapeutic Goods Administration, its head of compliance telling us,
while individual accounts can be removed, new profiles can emerge just as quickly. Policing this is very much whack-a-mole. A profile can be taken down on a Monday and be back up on Thursday.
TikTok told us it urged users to report posts marketing high-risk goods and services, and that it was trying to expand the terms it uses to search for these accounts, while Meta said it was continuing to improve its systems to detect rogue ads. It is another extraordinary example of the wilting of the nation state and its wilting appetite to protect citizens in the face of corporate entities whose reach extends into the personal lives of billions of people, many of them young, impressionable and dismissive of mainstream scientific institutions. It is high time for social media companies to dedicate more of those mammoth profits to protecting those who use their platforms and for Canberra to force them to do it. And now, an update on a story we brought you last week, the shockwave passing through the ABC.
Four Corners is in crisis tonight following claims a reporter used a colleague to play 3 different sources in 2 separate documentaries.
2 episodes of its flagship investigative program featuring alleged drug traffickers wearing masks pulled from the internet, placed under investigation, both fronted by a bikie-turned-journalist named Mahmoud Fazal, who was sacked by the ABC in May. Last Tuesday, Mahmoud Fazal took to Instagram to deliver an impassioned defence, saying he was not alone in publishing these programs.
If there were questions about a source or a fact, we hashed it out internally at the time and made a call. And it wasn't me making the call.
It followed our episode last week, which revealed fears among Four Corners staff that a friend of Fazal's, an artist named Ben Aitken, may have played 3 different roles across the 2 episodes, as himself claiming to have left the life of drugs behind, as a masked cartel lieutenant sweeping a property for listening devices, and finally as a meth cook dubbed Brendan. But tonight we're going to raise new questions about another of Fazal's mask-wearing characters, a so-called corporate cocaine slinger given the moniker Remy.
Nice to finally meet you.
Pleasure. What does all of this mean to you? Rolling around in a car like this, living in a leafy North Shore suburb, considering how you grew up?
Means everything.
The alleged dealer claimed to have made hundreds of thousands of dollars retailing coke to the top end of town.
I realised that working in the corporate world and cocaine really works well together. I just see dollars, dollars, dollars.
Now we've turned up a social media video published by an unmasked Remy within a year of the Four Corners going to air, claiming the core of the story she told on the program was an invention. Answering questions from followers, she said this about that car she and Fazal were driven in.
Nice G-Wagon. Brother, it's got a wedding hire car advert across the back of it because they hired it just to make it look like I was being driven around and there was an image.
And as for her life as a former top-end coke dealer?
Well, I played a role that they needed. You know, when like people need roles played in certain docos and that, and there's people who look the part that can fill it. Yeah, that's what was happening. I earned a nice paycheck off that. A very nice one. So yeah, those things aren't always accurate and as real as you think they are.
Remy's real name is Carissa Hubcook, and on Thursday last week I asked her about her appearance on the program. She told me she
basically considered it an acting role and a favour to Mahmoud.
Carissa Hubcook is a self-styled Sydney rapper, and we should treat her account with caution, not least because she admitted to us she had not told the whole truth in her social media rant.
I didn't get paid for the role, not by Mahmoud or the ABC.
One claim she made in her video that we have been able to establish is she did not pay for this fancy car. The ABC did. So when the program put this to air,
I got some nice wheels, driver, take you a few spots around Sydney, tell you some stories, show you some things.
someone in the Four Corners team must have known the audience was being misled. But what of Mahmoud Fazal's central claim that Remy was a dealer to corporate bigwigs pulling down big money? She now claims...
All of that is a complete fable. There's no validity to it. He knew I could play the part and look the part.
And this location...
Remy operated a trap house, a place where drugs are dealt, deep in the guts of this building.
She now says was never her trap house.
That was just the place I used to party when I was 18.
So how does Carissa Hubcook say she ended up wearing a disguise on national television?
We had friends in common. He approached me on Instagram. I need someone, do you know anyone? And he said, would you be willing to do it? He said this was his shot to secure his work at the ABC if he could get this story up. I felt bad for him and I thought, why not?
Indeed, this story, Cocaine Nation, was Mahmoud Fazal's first Four Corners, and at the time he was not yet a member of the program's full-time staff. He was only on secondment. This latest development now pushes the scandal beyond just Four Corners, because another of the ABC's gold-plated investigative programs also put Remy to air.
This week, a different background briefing. A personal story from the other side of Australia's war on drugs.
A day before Four Corners aired its episode, Radio National's long-running background briefing published an even more in-depth portrait of her life.
Started to network, go for the after-work drinks, hang out with the managing directors, meet their managing director friends. 10 grand a day, 40, 50 grand a week.
With the episode containing this disclaimer, which was not included in the Four Corners.
Stories like this are hard to verify, so we've taken steps where we can to make sure this one is accurate. But it's one person's story, her experiences, and her version of events.
The Remy profile was approved for broadcast by Background Briefing's executive producer, Fanu Falali. Second in charge was Mario Christodoulou, who is now executive producer of Media Watch and who recused himself last week from all work on this story. On Friday, rather than addressing our extensive questions about fact-checking and verification, the ABC pulled down the Background Briefing episode and published a statement that revealed it had widened the net.
The ABC continues to review other content involving the journalist to ensure it meets the ABC's editorial standards.
Four Corners' then executive producer Matthew Carney told us,
if Miss Habcook's account can be verified, then this is disappointing and troubling. If this information had been disclosed to me, the program would not have been broadcast.
Mahmoud Fazal gave us a statement saying he stood by his journalism and would not discuss his confidential sources, though added he had no shortage of such people to film, and
I reject the suggestion that I fabricated, staged or knowingly published information that I believed to be false. The suggestion that I needed this story to cement my position at the ABC is false. I was already contracted by the ABC on a permanent ongoing basis. Both programs were subject to extensive editorial fact-checking and legal review, involving multiple senior editorial staff.
The ABC's editorial policies say this about the responsibility of senior managers to check the identity of journalists' sources.
It is a matter for the judgment of the designated senior person, whether he or she seeks to be told the name of the anonymous source, or is satisfied about the existence and reliability of the source on the basis of other factors, including the particular staff member's reputation.
There can now be little doubt that Mahmoud Fazal was, at the very least, embellishing his journalism and cheating his audience. The greater trouble, however, is the contagion has spread and a serious breakdown in editorial integrity at not one, but two of the ABC's most respected and important programs has been exposed. His managers granting too much trust and too much autonomy to a journalist with a history of choosing life outside the rules. And finally tonight, a world exclusive for one Australian network, the end of the line for a defining figure of our generation.
Ukraine's Prime Minister Volodymyr Zelensky announces his resignation, endorsing the energy boss for the top job.
Seven Sunrise reporting 2 weeks ago that Volodymyr Zelensky, the Lion of Kyiv, the stone in Putin's shoe, had hung up his black uniform. It was a story missed by the Beeb, the New York Times, even his local Kyiv Post. The reason for his resignation? A mystery.
He's given little explanation as to why he's stepping down, apart from insisting that a refresh in leadership is needed.
That mystery only deepening further when 6 days into his retirement, Zelensky appeared on Seven's news bulletin, this time firing his top general, even as Seven's website continued to report he was retired. Then, another week later, rather than blissed out on a cruise liner and sipping pina coladas, Zelensky was talking shop in the White House with its rather mercurial resident. As I'm sure you've guessed, Volodymyr Zelensky did not resign as Prime Minister because he never held that post. Rather, it was Yulia Sviridenko, Ukraine's true Prime Minister, who did amidst a corruption scandal. Yes, they happen over there too. The howler remained on Seven's website until we notified its masters, who duly fessed up and finally interred the story. A quick amendment just a few weeks in the making. Good thing the boo-boo didn't concern anyone important. And that's all from us tonight. Be sure to check us out on ABC iView, as well as YouTube, Facebook and also Reddit. You can find full statements on our website, and don't forget to send us your tips. See you next week.